Welcome to the You Are Worthy Network, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm your host, Steve Wormer. So grateful to see another Monday, another week, and another incredible guest that I think you're really going to enjoy today. Before we get to her, I just wanted to say, I know you guys know me as a 16-year-old, that'd be interesting, a pastor of 16 years, and also as obviously a podcast guest. But did you also know that I'm a keynote speaker? Did you also know that I'm a mindset coach called the Breakthrough Igniter? What is that? I love helping people that are stuck, that don't know how to take the next steps towards their dreams. I love helping them get some momentum, ignite a spark in them, help them get past the mindset, the imposter syndrome, the negative thinking, the paralysis by analysis, all that stuff that's holding them back from taking the next step. You know why I love it? Because I struggled with it for way too long, and I still can on a bad day. One of the many ways that I do that, besides one-on-one coaching, is Christy Dees and me have a incredible program that we just did for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and we're doing it again on August 31st, called Worthy of the Next Step. You're worthy of your next step. And we have a 1 hour masterclass on August 31st at 4 Central. You can sign up at stevewormer.com. It's all over social media, on here, on my personal page. Would love to see you there. Worthy of the next step. Okay, enough about that. And my phone doesn't like me today, but that's okay. We will persevere. I'm excited to tell you about Jean today. Jean Abbott. Now, let me back up. One in a million twice. We've heard that phrase a lot, right? One in a million? One in a million twice. That's the remarkable story of Jean Abbott, who is a keynote speaker, author, certified coach who helps individuals transform life's unexpected detours into opportunities for purpose, growth, and impact. She is both a John Maxwell certified coach, speaker, and trainer, and a certified purpose factor coach. After living for 33 years with what she believed was cerebral palsy, a condition that greatly impacted her daily life, Jean finally received the correct diagnosis of DRD. Years later, she faced a second one in a million diagnosis, appendix cancer. Today, Jean's story has inspired people around the world, and despite the challenges she faced, she wouldn't change her journey because it led her to the life and purpose she lives today. Jean, welcome to the You Are Worthy Network.
Oh, thank you so much for having me here today, Steve.
You are extremely welcome, and I'm excited to talk with you. I'm excited about our conversation. I've been looking forward to it. I so am tempted to just jump right in. Um, but let's ease into it, like two friends just getting to know each other again after not seeing each other for a long time. So tell folks watching what part of the world you're coming from. Where do you call home?
I am from a suburb of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Sounds cold, but not today, right?
Not today. It's in the 80s today.
Nice, nice.
Sunny. It's nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Has Minnesota been home for a long time?
I born and raised here. I did live in Macon, Georgia for about 3 years in my mid 20s, but was very excited to come back home.
Ah, that's right. I remember you telling me
Yes.
that. I interviewed for a job once in Macon, and I went down there twice, and it was midsummer, and oh my goodness, brutal heat.
Yes.
So in outside of Minneapolis, Minnesota, who do you do life with? Tell us about your family.
Well, I have three children. Winona is my oldest, and she is 24 years old, but she actually lives a couple hours away from me with her husband and my grandson, who is about 9 months old. His name is Mason. And then I have my 22-year-old daughter who is going to college in River Falls, Wisconsin for psychology. And then I have my 14-year-old son who uh, is actually going to be starting high school this fall, which I cannot believe. But he keeps me active, and he's a lot of fun. And he's been busy this summer doing a whole lot of fishing with his fishing team through the high school.
Gosh, it goes fast, doesn't it?
It goes like that.
Goodness. And so when you guys are together, what do you guys like to do for fun?
Oh gosh. We do like to play games. We play games a lot. We like to listen to music and just be silly and talk about old times and stories and just kind of laugh with each other. It's
Yeah,
what we do probably the most.
yeah, very cool. Those are great memories.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now, and this is I've, a lot of people do this. I've just introduced it recently. We're going to do a little game of this or that.
Okay.
And people can get to know you a little bit through your answers. Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you an option of one or the other. Please don't overthink it. Go with your first instinct. And of the series of questions, you can use both as an answer one time and one time only.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Rock music or country music?
Country.
Small town or big city?
Small town.
Read the book or watch the movie?
Read the book.
Books or podcast?
It's tough. Read the book.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl, which is
Ooh,
funny because I used to always be an early bird because of my cerebral palsy diagnosis I had, because I always did better in the morning and would get worse as the night went on. You couldn't hardly do anything in the evening. And now it's like, oh my gosh, I can move at night. So I like to stay up late now.
how late is late?
Midnight one.
I'm right there with you. I'm like a 12, 15 guy.
But I think I like having the house, like everyone, like my son's in bed sleeping. And so I just kind of have the place to myself and I don't have to, yeah, it's just nice.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Camping or hotel?
Hotel.
Oceans or mountains?
I'm going to use my both for this because it depends on the time of year in Minnesota. If it's winter and it's 30 below, would much rather go to the ocean, the beach. But if it's summer, the mountains are beautiful and it's a little bit cooler. So
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. And I like them both too. So
I
I
know
get you.
they're different.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee,
Ice cream or pie?
ice cream,
Chocolate or vanilla?
chocolate.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Drive or fly?
Drive. It's nothing better than a good road trip.
Take out or cook?
Cook.
Mm. Lastly, dogs or cats?
Cats.
Okay, okay. You did good. You use that both right on time. I like that. So, everybody that listens to this knows what I'm about to do with you next. Everybody but you, even though I might have already told you, I can't remember. But anyway, we're going to go back to high school for a second. And I know here shortly we need to go back even further to get to some of the heart of your story. But let's find out what you were thinking 48 hours away from graduation. Graduation's on Friday night. It's Wednesday afternoon. You've got your cap, you've got your gown. You're about to have the diploma placed in your hand in 2 days and change. And I want to know what the thought process was, because as we know, 17 and 18-year olds, they're all over the place in mindset. I've got a son that just graduated in May. he graduated when he was 17. So it's that weird stage of he's done with this part of his life, and he's working full time, but he's still trying to figure out what he wants to do for his career. Um, but were you like, oh gosh, this is getting real. I mean, this is going to end soon. I'm going to miss this place. I guess I should get a job. I not sure what I'm going to do in the fall, but I need to figure it out. Or were you, can this time go any slower? I am on a 10 scale of senioritis. I'm at a 12. I've already got a job. I'm going to work that until the third week of August. I know where I'm going in the fall. I've got a plan. I know what I'm going to major in. I know where I'm going to go to school. I know what I'm going to do for a career. Let's go. Or were you somewhere in between?
I was totally one that had all my ducks in a row. I too was like your son. I was 17 when I graduated high school because I had a summer birthday. And honestly, I was so ready to get out of high school. Middle school and high school were a little hard. I mean, because I was the girl with the funny walk. So it was a little bit more challenging. I had a lot of friends and a great support system, so it was fine. But I wasn't involved in high school at all as far as like extracurriculars or anything like that. But I was just really excited. I knew I was going to go to Winona State University in the fall, and I was going to go and get a paralegal degree because I was certain that I wanted to work in a law firm. But that changed. I changed my major a few times. My dad used to joke, like, "What's your major this week?" So um, it's patience and figuring it all out. So I just had to kind of work my job that summer and then uh, go off to school in the fall. And it's funny, my job that summer, oh my gosh, I was a telemarketer. I had a hard time finding a job for that summer. And I sold carpet cleaning over the phone. I was Jean from Extreme Clean. Oh,
That is
man.
funny.
Uh-huh.
Probably the only thing funny about that job, though, right? Because that's
Oh,
hard work.
it was tough. And I did get some sales because people would call back and say, I don't remember who I talked to, but her name rhymes with the company. So it worked out in my favor. I thought it was kind of funny at first, but it worked out.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, you can't, it's hard to even call back now and get the same person or ask for the same person to give them their commissions. I get it.
Hmm.
Um, so okay, so you do go off to school. So the plan changed by the time you got to school, or were you still pursuing law at that time?
I went my first year and the following summer I worked in a law firm and I did not like it. It was extremely stressful and I'm like, this is not what I want my life to look like. So I ended up changing my major to public relations. And then, um, funny enough, I failed a class that was necessary and no other professor taught it. So I left it to chance as to what my major would be after, 2 years of school. And I randomly opened up the college course catalog. Of course, if it was art and my hands, I could hardly even hold a pen or a paintbrush. So I'm like, okay, well, that's not going to work. So I reopened the catalog and it was communications. And so that was my major, even though I was deathly afraid of giving speeches in front of people. But it helped me get over that fear quite quickly.
Very nice. And so how did you parlay that into the real world once you were out of school?
Well, it is funny because, all of us that were graduating with our communications degree were all kind of like, well, what do we do with this? I mean, we liked all our classes, but what do we do with it? My first job out of college was I was an employment counselor for people on welfare. And so that was my job was to help them get off of welfare by helping them and teaching them how to write their resumes and prepare for interviews and such.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Did you like that?
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
I mean, I prefer to help people that want to be helped. And there were a few that wanted to be helped, but a lot of them that didn't. So that was kind of hard for me, to be honest. But those that I was able to help, I mean, it was incredibly rewarding. And to just see how emotional that they would get that they had made it and they were going to be able to be on their own without any assistance from anyone else. Yeah.
So by this time you're what, 22, 23 years old?
Yeah. Hmm.
So this is probably a good time to introduce. even though we're going backwards to do it, this is probably a good time to introduce your first misdiagnosis because 22, 23 years, you've been living with what you think is cerebral palsy for almost
Mhm.
20 years at that point, right? So,
Right?
so tell us what that looks like day in and day out.
Yeah, I was about 4 years old when I was diagnosed by one of the best neurologists, pediatric neurologists in the country, if not the world. And uh, it diagnosed me with spastic diplegia, which falls under the umbrella of cerebral palsy. But it really did affect my arms and my legs. Like I always say, I had this like chicken wing with my arm kind of at my side that was kind of like difficult to move. I was a kid with a funny walk where I was on my tippy toes and my knees would knock. So I tripped myself a lot. So I never played sports. As I said earlier, I would do a lot better in the morning and I would get worse as the day would go on. So I would do my chores in the morning. I did a lot of my homework in the morning, so it'd be easier to write. Evening, by the time dinner came around, it was hard for me to even like carry my dinner dishes over to the sink. And my mom would have to help put me to bed every single night, helping me get in my pajamas and kind of doing the old regimen of stretching my muscles before bedtime every night. And yeah, and that's partly why by the time I went off to college, I was using a mobility scooter, was because that was how we knew I would be able to be independent. Otherwise, it would have been incredibly challenging.
Yeah, so you answered my next question there kind of in flow. So your mom's helping you at bedtime. When you were younger, what other assistance did you need? What limitations were there?
I mean, for the most part, I really didn't get any assistance. I will say though, like by the time I entered middle school, that's when ADA started becoming a thing, the
Hmm.
Americans with Disabilities Act, which I'm really aging myself now, aren't I? Um, but I I was able to have like a set of school books at home, and then I had a set of school books at school. So that way I wouldn't have to carry them all home. Again, aging myself because now all these kids go to school and it's all on their iPad.
What's books? Yeah.
Oh, that would have been so easy. And then in college, I got extra time for taking tests because it would take me longer to write. And I had a note taker, which again, they would use carbon copy paper. So because we didn't use computers then. So
Yeah.
yeah, but those were but my parents, I guess, like growing up, like when I was little, like, yeah, maybe I didn't have the chores that my brothers had that would have been physically challenging, like vacuuming and stuff, but I had my chores. And my parents taught me at a very young age that my disability would make things hard in life, but yet it was never going to define me. No matter what, I would be able to do whatever I wanted to do in life. Like even as a little kid, they would never say like, "Oh, are you going to go to college?" It was, "Where do you think you're going to go to college, Jean?" And they started instilling that in me even as young as early elementary school. So, yeah, always, things would be a little bit tough to do, but I always knew I could do it. And I am stubborn. And if anyone ever thought I couldn't do something, well, you better just watch out because I'll figure out a way to prove you wrong.
Yeah. Um, well, yeah, I'm sure, even though it was a misdiagnosis, and we'll get to that here in a minute, I'm sure tenacity and grit came with the territory, but it must have meant a lot to you um, to have such supportive parents.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, obviously, I didn't realize it as a kid, right? I didn't really realize
Yep.
it until I was a parent myself. And that's one thing that I think like I was so grateful for because I'm sure a lot of kids or parents or everyone that saw me as a kid dealing with these physical limitations and at some capacity probably felt sorry for me. But I had the best parents, the best family. Um, Nobody treated me with any specialty because I was physically disabled. And so I mean, they taught me a lot. Even my older brothers, right? Like there was no mercy. I mean, it didn't matter that I did things differently. They were still just as rough and tough with me as had I been a physically abled person. So really, really fortunate, especially knowing that not everybody has that. And so sometimes people got to reach out to other support systems, whether it's people at their church or their friends or school, their work. But I was
Yep.
really fortunate.
Did you feel like you made friends easy?
Oh, yes, I did make friends very easily. Just, I don't know, I guess I was a pretty positive person and not one to complain about the challenges I had. I mean, of course, I complained here and there, but I wasn't one to like let it run my life. And so that's kind of one of the things I like people to hear that are facing challenges, whether it's physical disability or dealing with depression or anxiety, is like it doesn't define you. And people just they want to be around the real you and around someone who's fun or positive, and got to catch ourselves when we get in those negative moments
Right.
because that's not fun to be around.
No, no. But I mean, it's remarkable. I mean, so here at this point in time in your life story, we're mid-20s. You make friends fairly easy. You've got a healthy, positive mindset, it sounds like for the most part. You're resilient, you're stubborn in a good way. You achieve the things that you want to achieve. Um, is there any internal struggle in terms of self-worth? Why me? Um, Competitiveness? I mean, is there any struggle with feeling unworthy? I don't want to plant something if there's not anything there. I just have to wonder.
No, I mean, I'm really fortunate that in those early years, like those first 25 years, I didn't have that why me and really never why me because I guess I mean, my faith got me through a lot. And I was kind of taught that God doesn't make mistakes. This is how he made me. I had accepted my fate of this is what my physical disability was, and this is how life was going to be. But I mean, there were hard times, you know. I never thought anyone would want to date a disabled girl. I didn't go to prom, never played sports. But then at the same time, I would look at it as I'm not facing any of these peer pressure things that my friends are having to deal with, like premarital sex and drinking and skipping school. Like I didn't have that. I mean, so like it was pretty easy that way, you know? And it's especially nowadays, I can't even imagine how hard it is for these students going through life with everything being on social media and whatnot.
Mm.
But I just always felt like it was God's plan. And I felt like what we go through is always leading us to something bigger, something better. And I always felt like there's always someone that has it worse. There are people that would trade in a heartbeat to have what I was going through versus what they were going through.
That's really remarkable. Positivity for sure. Tell us, we'll fast forward just a little bit. Let's fast forward to that day. Well, I'm sure there's more than just a day, but at 33 years old, um, what leads up to a new doctor saying, I don't think it's CP. I think we got something else going on here.
I had hit rock bottom. I had had a surgery that I had a medical device implanted in me that gave me muscle relaxers. And that particular physician kept increasing that dosage of muscle relaxers until I became what I called a human noodle. Steve, I'm telling you, like, I couldn't do anything for myself anymore. I couldn't dress myself. I couldn't roll over in bed. I could barely feed myself. And that was when I started dealing with anxiety and I started seeing a therapist and realized I got to see a new doctor because this stuff is not right. This something is not going right. And so I did go see a new neurologist, and it's probably one of my favorite parts in my signature keynote that I get to tell. I mean, you can even probably tell by my face, like I'm just like I light up because
Yeah, you are.
I went into that appointment. My brother wheeled me into that appointment because I couldn't, he had to drive me there. He wheeled me into that appointment. And that was where we had met up with another family member. And we sat there in that appointment, just kind of discussing all the physical limitations that I'd gone through as a kid and as a mom and as a wife and all the things. And she watched me walk. And then the other family member had said, it's as though someone presses a reset button when Jean gets a good night of sleep because sleep was always critical to how I would do, which is why I would do better in the morning, get worse as the day would go on. And her face lit up like a child on Christmas morning. And she just like started talking really fast. Like, I think you have dopa responsive dystonia, which is DRD, which you mentioned in my intro. Uh, and I think with the right medication, you're going to be able to walk from point A to point B without even thinking about it. And I mean, I wasn't even going to fill the prescription because I had tried everything. I had been to doctor's appointments, physical therapy, medications, and nothing worked. And at the age of 33, she's thinking that this is going to change. But I did take that medication. I was stubborn about it. I didn't want to, but I did take it. And then we went out to dinner that night with some family. And I was so worn out from the day. And I didn't know if I'd even be able to feed myself with a fork. So I remembered at one point, a doctor had said, well, when those nights that you're really spastic, have a beer or a glass of wine just to relax your muscles enough so you can function. And that's what I did. And when it was time to leave the restaurant, instead of like being half carried out by my partner, I took his hand and I walked alongside him. And I was such a skeptic. I thought there's no way it's this medication. I mean, I truly thought it was the wine. um, I was a skeptic that whole weekend. And that was Good Friday that I received that diagnosis. And then it was Easter Sunday that I was standing in the parking lot independently for the first time in about a decade. I hadn't even told my mom that I started taking this medication. And she came up from behind me and didn't even recognize me because I was standing so tall and so strong. And she's just like, Jean, is that you? So, and it was in that moment that I knew that my life had changed and that any opportunity that God put in front of me, that I would give it my best and give it my all. And I still try and live that way now.
So are we saying that the medication change was the primary factor for what you're just describing?
Right. I took a different medication and it changed my life overnight.
Wow. And I already think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask anyway. So, like, n undoubtedly, gratitude is rushing in. It,
Right.
is there any, well, I already know there's an opportunity. I just want to see how you responded to it.
Mm.
Like the misdiagnosis part, does that settle in it in your heart at any point? Feelings, weird feelings about that?
I mean, I was fine with it. I mean, doctors, that's why they call it practicing medicine. We do have to be our own advocate. I had seen many doctors, gotten many second, third, fourth, fifth opinions. It was just kind of the way it was supposed to be. And it was just filled with gratitude. But I was really scared because I take the same medication as Parkinson's patients. And I thought eventually with them, the medication doesn't work anymore. And that was my fear, was that I'll take this and then eventually it won't work. So I called the neurologist that Monday because I said, if eventually it's not going to work, then I'm going to stop taking it now because I only know one way of living. And I can't imagine going from having more flexibility and ease with daily living to have to go back, if that makes sense.
It does. And so what did she tell you on that?
I mean, she said, yeah, I mean, it's going to work for you forever. I mean, she's like, you're still going to have symptoms that you're going to have to deal with, which I do. I get really tight muscles, bad knots. It's painful. I have to focus on keeping my stress levels low and getting quite a bit of sleep, but I can walk. So I can walk. And that is amazing.
Wow. Just wow. So 33 years old, new lease on life, feeling much better, feeling great. What stage of life are you in at this point? I mean, do you have, I'm trying because I don't know your age and nor am I going to ask. You already have your kids, I assume.
Yep. Well, two of my three children I had, the oldest two, and oh my gosh, like it was just amazing. Um, I mean, just so life changing. Like just feeling like a different mom. Um, because prior to that, I was toying with the idea of putting myself in a nursing home because I thought they'd be better off with me there
Mm,
because they were putting me to bed at night and they were
mm.
only 5 and 3 years old.
Oh my goodness.
So, or yeah, about that age. And so, yeah, it just really changed overnight and just all the gratitude in the world.
Yeah. Wow. So you go about this new lease on life. You're doing great, loving being a mom again, and all the benefits that come from that. And then, so to speak, lightning strikes twice, but in a different way this time. Tell us about the second time you're misdiagnosed.
So, at the age of 49, so I'm 50. So now the cat's out of the box. Everyone knows I'm 50 years old, which probably makes sense with all the college stories I was telling, right?
I still got a few years on you, so take a deep breath.
It's all good. It's all good. I mean, I feel better at 50 than I did at 25. So, hey,
Yeah.
uh, I was 49 and I had been told that I had ovarian cancer. I had been feeling sharp pain in my side on and off for a few months. And I thought it was a cyst on my ovary because I'd had one before and it felt very, very similar. Um, However, my midsection was thickening up a little bit, getting a little heavier. But then I'm like, well, it's probably just kind of part of getting old, right? But I had gone in for just a regular exam. And then they had me, said things did not look right, and had me go do a CT, which is when I was told I had ovarian cancer. And then, as they were trying to figure out what kind of cancer, so they know what type of chemotherapy I would need to do, all of the tests kept coming back inconclusive for about 6 weeks, just one after the other. And so they ended up doing a exploratory surgery. So they just kind of cut into me to see what exactly was going on in there. And when I woke up from that, I was told that I had appendix cancer. 1 in a million people get appendix cancer. And I needed to go see another doctor because there are only three physicians in the state of Minnesota that deal with this. And keep that in mind. Like, I live in the state where Mayo Clinic is,
Yeah.
and only three physicians in the state deal with this. And I was scared to death again because it's like, what's going to happen? Um, and I think it's amazing that this interview is today because, unbeknownst to me, just last week, I realized that August is Appendix Cancer Awareness Month. So I love that we're
Oh.
talking about this aspect of it because a lot of people, I mean, it's rare, right? So they don't know, there's no signs, there's no symptoms other than sometimes people might go in for an appendicitis and they take it out and there's cancer there. If you
Hmm.
catch it early before any of it gets out of your appendix, all you need to do is have your appendix removed. I
Hmm.
wasn't so fortunate. They think I probably had it for over a year, well over a year. And it was throughout my whole abdomen. But luckily for me, it was the kind that doesn't go into the other organs. It just kind of latches on to the outside of the organs from the abdomen. So I was told that I would have a 13 to 14-hour surgery. And I Googled it, and it literally is called the mother of all surgeries.
Ooh.
And so they'd already taken out my appendix, but during that surgery, they took out my gallbladder, my spleen, part of my small intestine, half my stomach. I had a full hysterectomy. Then they cleaned and scraped out everything that they could of all the bad tissue, bad cells. And then they finished it off with a 90-minute hot chemo bath where they put chemo in my abdomen and rubbed it all over my organs for 90 minutes.
Oh my goodness. And this was how long ago?
It was in December, and it's about a year recovery. So I'm at about 8 months recovery. And I'm telling you, I mean, I'm a really positive person and I am one to just always focus on the good. But even I had a couple days where in my head I thought, I wish I hadn't woken up from that because the recovery was so awful. And I had been through a lot of surgeries and stuff with my CP diagnosis. So, like, I had a muscle transfer where I was a body cast for a month. And this surgery was like 10 times worse. It was absolutely awful. But I was very, very sick. And they think it was probably harder for me as well because of my dopa responsive dystonia. But I mean, I was very, very sick. And I mean, I lost 65 pounds in a matter of like 4 months. So not easy. And that's
Whoa.
why I lost my hair too. I know my bio picture, I don't have a recent headshot. So I have this hair, in my headshot, but I lost my hair not due to chemotherapy, but I lost it due to the amount of stress my body was under during surgery and recovery.
I mean, not knowing you, you look great and you sound strong. But we're 8 months later, but still, I think it's remarkable.
It is. It is. As soon as I stopped feeling, or as soon as I stopped being sick every day, that's really when things started making a shift and I was really starting to do better, both mentally and physically, because I can remember going in to see the oncologist one day. And I mean, I had been like physically losing my lunch 3 times a day. And I was like, is this what the rest of my life is going to be like? Because I'm thinking, this is like a pregnancy that never ends if that's the case,
Mm,
and there's no baby at the end. So, and she's like, no, no, I promise you it's not going to last forever. It's not going to last forever. But sometimes when we're in the thick of things and things feel so dark and heavy and we can't see the
mhm.
light at the end of the tunnel, it's easy to get focused on the right now instead of like leaning in and saying, what lessons am I going to learn from this? And
Mhm.
I mean, I kept thinking what helped me get through it again was my faith and saying, okay, God, I know you're not doing this for no reason. Like, I
Mhm.
know something is going to come from this. I have no idea what it's going to be. I still don't know what it's going to be. I mean, you know what, Steve? Maybe it's just going to be one person hears this interview I'm doing now and they're like, I have this slight pain in my right side once in a while, and they check it out with their doctor. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But I'm one, I choose to use my pain and put it towards purpose, make good out of it.
Yeah, I have to believe that along the journey, God has given you some pieces of the puzzle. Um, like I'm sure you get asked this a lot. Where's the book?
Oh, like
Yeah, where's your book? When's it coming?
well, I have a book actually right now. It's right
Tell us.
behind
Yeah,
me.
show us.
Okay.
Show us.
Misdiagnosed.
Ah, there it
And I am
is.
starting to work on a second book, uh, which I just need to get going on it. I keep getting derailed, right? But there will be a second book, I guarantee. So,
Yeah, wow. Please keep us up to date on the second book as it progresses.
yes.
Um, you mentioned that faith had a big part of getting you through. Where do you see God taking this and using it for good? Because he does promise that, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I'm preaching this Sunday coming up on we're doing remain in him all year long. And then I take different branches of remain in forgiveness, remain in unity, on and on. And this coming week, remain in him even when you're in the pit.
Mhm.
You know a thing about the pit,
I do. Yeah. I've been in
but
the pit a couple times.
you have, and that pit was pretty deep and dark and cold.
Yes. Yes.
But he's redeeming you.
Mhm.
What pieces of the puzzle is he showing you for what's next?
Well, this is where I think it becomes hard, but not necessarily hard, is listening to that inner voice and facing the fear and following what you're feeling you're being guided to do. So for me, I've always wanted to host a retreat for women, like a small, intimate retreat, not like 100 women, but like less than 10 women. And that's what I've got in the books right now, coming spring of 2027. I actually have a wait list right now going on my website, which I know I'll have a link to that in the comments. But it's really to help women that are in transition, whether whatever their pit is, right? and that they've kind of gotten themselves out of the pit, but they're wondering what next, whether it's they've gone through divorce, health challenge, they've been taking care of someone forever and now they're not, and they're just wondering what next. And I'm going to help them discover their purpose and help them get their next steps so they can live the life that they deserve to live. Because we all have a purpose. And I think people get confused on what purpose is. I think they get confused between purpose and passion. Our passion can fizzle out. We can get excited about something and be passionate about it, but eventually it kind of fizzles out. But our purpose is when we're able to give the best of ourselves and give it to someone else. And when we watch how they react to the best of what we're giving them, we respond with this complete amount of fulfillment. And so I do believe that that is what I'm supposed to be doing. I believe I'm supposed to help other people get out of that pit and know that they're not going to be stuck there forever. And to think about, like, we've all been through something. Nobody gets off scot-free.
No.
Nobody gets off scot-free. And this is why I actually, when I speak to audiences, I tell people to check on their strong friends. Because I was the girl that looked like I had it all together in junior high and in high school. And when people read my book, they were like, I had no idea you felt that way. I was good at hiding those emotions. So to check on your strong friends, but everybody at some point in time is going to be down in that pit and they're going to get out of it. It might not seem like they're going to get out of it, but they will get out of it, you know, relying on their support system and their faith, or it's preparing them for something bigger.
Yep.
When we live our purpose, we live the life we're supposed to be living.
So let's go back a half a step to the retreat. That what's the name of it?
When life rewrites your story, say yes.
And there's a waiting list.
Uh-huh.
How would people find that waiting list? How would they get on it?
Sure, they can actually just go to jeanabbott.com and I have the wait list there. And then that way, when the retreat opens up, everyone on the wait list will get an opportunity to register before it's open to the public. And I'm anticipating it's going to go pretty quickly because I've got more people on the wait list than I even anticipated would be on the wait list. So I can see a second one coming already. But yes, on there. And then also I have a Purpose After Facebook community, which is a private group, but people can go in and ask to join on there. And I've got some information as well on there. And by joining the wait list, there's no obligation. So you just get to get first dibs is really all it is. But
That's
it's going to
awesome.
be a transformational weekend, and I cannot wait for it. It's going to be life changing, even for myself, because I love helping people and I love watching people grow and learn from their setbacks.
Sounds exciting. I'm not even a girl, and it sounds exciting. It's gonna be awesome. I love transformation. That's the same thing
Yeah.
I love helping people with too.
Hmm.
So if I was an event planner and I was looking for a keynote speaker, and I checked out your speaker reel, I checked out your one sheet. I had a group of 700 people that I was gonna have a speaker come talk to, and I said, Gene, this time you can talk about whatever you want. What's going to be your topic?
Oh, whatever I want. Well, I love talking about purpose. I also love sharing the stories of resilience, overcoming acceptance with the hope, because there has to be that balance. I mean, there has to be the balance between acceptance and hope. So it's really just that positive, trying to, train your brain to think more positively every single day. And that comes with living your purpose. So they kind of go hand in hand together.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
Woo, wow.
And I should say too, I know because my topics are heavy, right? My two misdiagnosis stories are heavy, but I do not leave my audience crying. I can be funny. and I can make them laugh. So it's not a doom and gloom keynote at all by any means, because I got through life being funny and finding the humor in things. So yeah,
Is TEDx in your future?
it's on my list. Yes, for sure. I just,
Okay.
yes, that is a goal. It's on my vision board. Yes,
You have a lot to keep us updated on.
I do. And the thing is like I have to be mindful to keep my symptoms at bay. So it's like I can't do too much all at one time, right?
That's
So
true.
and that's really something we all need to learn too, is to like not get so overwhelmed by all the things that we want to do. One thing at a time, one step at a time. And as long as we take those little steps, we keep moving forward.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I want to thank you. I know there's so much more that we could talk about, but your journey is fascinating. And I think for somebody, kind of to your point there that you just made about the keynote, for somebody that's been through as much as you are, you're extremely positive and level-headed and humorous. And I just thank you for being vulnerable and sharing the good, the bad, the ugly. I don't know if you ever saw it as bad or ugly, but most people would maybe think so. But your grit and your resilience and your mindset is just remarkable to me. I've been through, we've all been through things, like you said. I've been through things, but nothing like you've been through, especially physically, and your positivity is just contagious. So I thank you for sharing that all of that with us today, and your heart of gold to want to see other people be the best they can be, and living in your purpose and letting faith drive you. And I'm blessed to call you my new friend,
Oh,
and you've been awesome to be our special guest today. And I wanted to thank you.
thank you so much. And I mean, I just really, really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad that I can call you my friend as well, because I see big things coming your way with this amazing community of You Are Worthy. It's amazing. I'm so glad I got to be a part of it.
Well, I'm glad you're part of it too. And I don't expect you to know this, Gene, but on our private Facebook group banner in the lower left corner, it says your story's not over yet. And I examples like yours are a huge reason why I created the group. And it's to remind people that their story's not over yet either. Like that you've had some significant, what I would call wilderness seasons, but yet they were still just chapters. They were
Right.
long chapters and they were heavy chapters at times, but yet and still in this thing called life, there were more chapters to come. And what I want to tell you guys watching is her story wasn't over yet. Your story is not over yet. And whatever you're going through right now, we never minimize that. We have great deal of compassion for you for what you're going through. But also be encouraged, keep going. Don't try to do it alone. And there is more chapters, not only more chapters, some of your best chapters are still to be revealed to you. You are worthy of love, respect, and success. I appreciate you. You're worthy of the next step. Till next time, God bless.